As many of you have come to know, I have now landed in London, the home of flavorful culture and diversity. In today's episode, I will be going around this wonderful place, trying delicious food and giving recommendations. On the first day I arrived in London, I couldn't wait to try the famous English Nando's. Not that Nando's doesn't exist in Australia, but the chain in London is widely known to be much higher quality. At last, we come here to Nando's, Hounslow, London. Much awaited lunch for a very, very long time. It's been nearly 4 years compared to Sydney. This chicken is juicy. The sauces are amazing. This is the medium, the garlic, and the peri-peri wild herb. The chips, crispy from the outside, soft from the inside. Dip it in. To die for. All things considered, English Nando's gets a great side score of 9 out of 10. Australian Nando's sits at a lower score of 7. To finish off my first day, me and my family took a trip to central London by underground tube. This is the best way to travel far distances, as it is efficient. Here's some footage taken from Trafalgar Square. The view of the Big Ben and the Buckingham Palace was clear from this point. We also went to the National Gallery. Walking inside, you could feel the history oozing from the paintings. Every single one had a great story embedded deep within the oil. Two paintings in particular caught my eye. This first one is called The Graham Children and was painted in the year 1742. In the picture, you can see a baby named Thomas sitting on a chair. Behind him is a miniature statue of Cupid holding Time's scythe. This is a reference to mortality, how everyone dies eventually. The baby Thomas sadly died before the picture was completed, which is why Cupid is present. I find this to be a very somber detail which pulled me in. The art style is another reason I like this painting. Very bright and seemingly happy until you find out the backstory. On a happier note, this second unfinished painting is named The Painter's Daughters Chasing a Butterfly. It was made in 1756. This painting shows two sisters in a garden chasing a butterfly. The older one is on the right, the younger one on the left. The butterfly represents childhood and innocence, which is shown to be impermanent. On the second day, we went to a Pakistani Afghani restaurant called Lala Peshawari, recommended by my lovely in-laws. This was definitely one of the best food experiences I had in this trip. It's a fairly new restaurant in Hounslow, and the owner was kind enough to let me film the kitchen and give an insight to how this delicious food is made. Without her, this footage wouldn't have been possible to bring to you. We are at a place called Lala Peshawar. in Heston. The food in here is to die for. It's amazing food. I'm having butter chicken and naan. The naan was incredibly crispy and buttery, but also soft. Before the food was served, we were each given a complimentary glass of the best chicken yakni I've ever had. This was accompanied by a beautifully fresh salad, served with homemade mint, yogurt, and chili chutney. Here can be seen a lovely platter of chicken tikka and lamb kebab. Both were juicy and tender, emanating flavor. We also ordered tawa lamb, which was packed with flavor, and it was almost as if you could taste the blend of both the cultures within it. The nihari was just as good as it looks. The meat on the shank just fell off the bone. It had a spicy sting, but a homey feel. The tawa chicken tasted just as good, but completely different than the tawa lamb. It was full of dense flavor. The kabuli pulao was just as delicious as everything else. For these reasons, Lala Peshawari gets a side score of 10 out of 10, the highest score so far. On day 3, we went to Royal Nawab. This restaurant is famous throughout England for its high class and expensive cuisine. It's a buffet and pays per head. Anything you could possibly think of would be possible to eat at Nawab's. Barbecue, South and North Indian, Afghani, Pakistani, Chinese, and many more types of food are all present in this restaurant. There is a large variety of desserts too. With the colossal amounts of food and the huge restaurant, it seemed like I was at a wedding venue. But quality does not equal quantity, as I would soon find out. Because there was so much variety in the food, the chefs didn't seem to be perfect in every aspect. It wasn't bad per se, but it was quite mediocre, as there was no speciality. People often mix up quality and quantity. Because so much food is present, people think they need to eat as much as they can when they come here. The truth is, smaller restaurants with less items on the menu usually know how to do those things properly. While it is good to be well-rounded, sometimes it's best to stick to the things you know how to do well. This is halwa puri. Best Pakistani breakfast, but they are doing as a dessert. This is suji ka halwa. Although the mains were overrated, the desserts definitely weren't. For this reason, Royal Nawab gets a side score of 6 out of 10. On the final day of my time in London, I went to Ambala, a world-famous Indian sweet shop. Every dessert is freshly made in the morning. Alongside this are fresh samosas and aloo tikkis. I was going to bring some back home to Australia for my brother, as the desserts are widely known. It was now time to go back to Australia. Although I'll miss London greatly, I'm also excited to see my home again. Turn your notifications on to be alerted when a new adventure is uploaded. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, everyone. This is your presenter Syed Razvi signing off.